Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the MNSpiritCast. We're on Sunday tonight because we have a very special guest. And as request of the guest, we have a very special show here on Sunday night. And I apologize for the technical difficulties at the beginning. I have the wrong intro on there. We have a new intro, and I thought I had the new intro loaded up, but I don't. So anyway, everybody, welcome Casey, my co-host, tech manager for Minnesota Spirit Hunters. I want to remind everybody to check out our sponsors of Schneider Creations. Any merchandise or anything that you need customized with your logo, with your brand on it, he can do for a very low price. So check him out. Also, Dubby Energy, a very amazing energy drink to keep you going all day long. And Provoke Paranormal, very special partner group that we are associated with. So today we are welcoming a very special guest in a state that we have investigated, but we haven't heard enough of the paranormal in this state. So everybody help us welcome Kandi Slater from the Ashes Paranormal. We are talking about Iowa today. And Kandi, we have investigated Iowa just one time. And it's a very awesome state. Oh, I take that back. We've been to Iowa 2 times for the Edinburgh Manor and the Victorian View. And you're familiar with both of those. So
yes.
First of all, before we start, I want to welcome Kandi and wish her a happy birthday because
thank you.
Today was your birthday, right?
Friday was, yeah.
Friday. Okay, so you don't look a day over 15. I'm going to start with that.
I wish.
So we're here. We're celebrating your birthday. We're talking about paranormal, one of the many, many loves of everybody here on the panel and in the audience. First of all, Kandi, can you tell me why there's a piece of corn on the background? And we all
everybody knows Iowa and corn. Yeah. Even think Field of Dreams, they plowed down the corn to make a baseball field because we're covered in corn everywhere you go.
Yes. So I must say, when we were traveling over to or down to Washington, Iowa, which literally you go through almost the entire state of Iowa to get to Washington. It was a very long drive. I felt like Minnesota, the rest of Minnesota took me about an hour. And then I get to Iowa, and that took me about, I'd say, 4 hours to get to Washington. It felt like 7 because, it was nothing but cornfields and windmills. And I'm like, where's all the buildings? Because here in Minnesota, there's buildings everywhere. We get to Iowa, it's nothing but corn.
So corn everywhere.
And we got a little pig back there because, if I'm not mistaken, you guys are a state that's big on pork, right?
We are, yeah. In fact, 5 minutes from where I live, they used to have a place called FDL, and they actually made Dubuque ham. So people got the ham, from Dubuque.
Okay. Awesome. Let's get our banner running down there. Guys, we are 27 episodes into season 4 of the All American Paranormal Tour, and it is going absolutely fantastic. Couldn't be more happy. And Facebook user says happy birthday.
Well, thank you.
So I wish I could see who you guys were, but you guys go in the description of our show, go all the way to the bottom and click that link where it says StreamYard wants permission or something. We'll be able to see who you are. So if you go do that, we can see who you are. But first of all, we're here to talk about all things paranormal in the state of Iowa. So let's start with All Out Paranormal. That is not All Out Paranormal. From the Ashes Paranormal. All right. So let's talk about From the Ashes. When did you start it?
Actually, just back in September. We were with All Out Paranormal, and nothing but wonderful things to say about that team and Rex. But Derek and I were really wanting to keep busy, and we've been going every week nonstop since the beginning of June. Like prior to that, we had like 1 weekend off, and we're going every weekend. Sure. So we wanted to keep busy, and I was doing some different projects that I really wanted to be able to promote what we were doing. So I was talking to the husband and I said, you know what? Let's you, me, and another friend that we had at the time. Let's just start our own.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to this friend of mine. I said, something about the phoenix rising. And I looked down at my sweatshirt that I was wearing at the time, and it said, "From the ashes I rise." And at the same time, we both said, "How about from the ashes?" And
wow.
So
seems like destiny to me.
Yeah.
And we just ran with it. So our page is very, very small because, like I said, just started it in September.
Sure.
And then I had my paracon I was focusing on. So, but
mm-hmm.
hopefully we'll grow that a little bit. But
well, I'm glad you mentioned the paracon because we will be getting into that a little bit tonight. Telling people what to expect for next year, how things went this year. I know you had the biggest media, for a paracon, that was a lot of media. So I want to talk a little bit about that later tonight, but we're going to go into deep detail about From the Ashes Paranormal.
Okay.
You started it recently. Okay, so let's rewind back to the beginning of your career in the paranormal. Was All Out Paranormal when you first started?
No, actually, I've only been in it about 5 to 6 years. Shortly after I met my husband, Derek, and we got married, I put the man through hell. I drug him to every concert under the sun all summer long because we have a casino here that does, like, they call it the back river stage. So it's concerts right on the river all, summer long. So every Friday and Saturday night, I was dragging him to concerts like boy band review. Like, what man wants to go listen to boy bands, right?
Yeah.
And we get to the fall and I said, oh, now I'm kind of bummed there's nothing to do. And he says, well, I told you, let's do this paranormal stuff. And I laughed at him. I said, oh, that hocus pocus, I ain't, no part of it.
Well, look at you now.
He said, just do it once for me, please. I said, okay, I'll do that for you. I said, but make it good, because if I don't like it, I won't. I'm one of those people, I won't do it again.
Yeah.
So he took me, we picked Edinburgh Manor, because I did a little bit of Google research, and it's supposed to be one of the most haunted in Iowa, and it's literally like 40 minutes from our house.
Ooh.
So I said, let's go do it. So we got in the car on a Saturday afternoon. We drove out to Edinburgh Manor, and I'm walking around the building. Now, at this point, I still do not know Derek is a medium, okay? He kept that secret under his belt for quite a while. I'm taking pictures of the building, and I'm using my phone, and I have my phone facing the building. I'm up close to a window because I want to take pictures, like through the window, right?
Yeah.
I hear a crow caw behind me in a tree. I stay facing the building, just kind of look back over my shoulder, and I see this crow fly away.
Yeah.
Finish taking my pictures. I get in the car. I'm scrolling the pictures. I'm like, Derek, did I turn around and take pictures of this crow? And he says, no, why? I said, there is a picture. And I said, look at this. There's a picture of it, the whole tree with the crow in it, a close-up of the crow, and then like a picture of the crow flying away. I'm like, this is weird. Let's go back at night. So we went home. We went back that night. And as we're walking around the building, my hair starts doing this and lifting up.
What?
Well, I'm sure Minnesota, you're like Iowa. We got bugs, right?
Oh,
so
God,
I'm thinking, I'm going, oh, I'm swatting it. Derek's laughing at me. And I'm like, what are you laughing at? He goes, or I said, there's a moth or something in my hair. All of a sudden, it starts doing it on the opposite side. I'm swatting it. Like, that's it. The bugs are terrible. Let's get in the car. Let's go. We get in the car, and it's happening in the car. I'm like, drive away.
Oh, no.
So I'm hooked. I'm like, Derek, we got to go back. So we booked, Cindy does tours. I think they were, at the time, they were like $10 a day on Sunday. You get to go in. She gives you a tour, and then you get some free roam time.
Sure.
So we went in there. My earrings were being played with. Let's do an overnight. And I ended up in the one bed with the mechanical hospital bed, held down, choked, legs pulled. Yeah, I was hooked. I'm like, okay, let's go. So every day, the month of October, even if it was just a small local trip to a cemetery, we spent the entire month of October going to a different location.
That's what
and get the month with a 13-stop tour. You know, I'm one of those people, I don't always have to investigate every location. Some of them, it's just cool. Like there's that bridge in Des Moines in Winterset. You know, go to the bridge, take your picture at it, view it, maybe run a 5-10 minute little session and be on our way. But we did 13 stops in one day and ended with an overnight at the Squirrel Cage jail.
Jeez.
Nice.
So it was, we were hooked.
That's
I was. And 6 months later, I find out he's a medium.
Okay, elaborate. I want to hear.
So we were at Ashmore Estates down in Illinois. And we're investigating. And a friend that we were with, we're watching Derek. And he's walking like he's holding the hand of somebody. And I'm looking, I'm like, he looks like he's holding somebody's hand. And then we start doing a different experiment and different things were happening. And I looked at this friend and she's like, he's got it. I'm like, he's got what? He's got it. What does he have? You know, like what's going on? No, he's got the gift. What do you mean? Oh, he's a medium. And sure enough, he was telling us things that like, yeah, he couldn't know. And even like with my grandpa and different family members that have passed that Derek never knew. There's never been anything posted on social media. He's known things that he couldn't possibly know unless, So we use that now when we investigate. It's cool because we'll go into a building and he'll be like, yeah, over in that corner over there. Okay, so I'll go do my thing with the equipment. He might occasionally now give me a little hint, say, oh, you got one over there that you might want to try using something to do with the cigar box or something. Or he might be, oh, try something more aimed at a little kid. And we use what I get with equipment to validate what he is seeing. So it's a lot of fun.
So you're basically a paranormal duo. Love it. That's awesome. And then so many years later came All Out Paranormal.
Yep.
Okay. And then from the ashes, rise from the ashes. So awesome. That's a great timeline that you got there. A lot of people don't go into deep detail, but that's
sorry, I talk too much.
No, seriously, it makes the show a whole lot better if we hear exactly how things happen. So I really appreciate that. So let's talk again about From the Ashes. What is it that you guys I'm going to kind of combine these questions. What is it that you guys do? What do you specialize in with All Out Paranormal? Considering he's a medium, is he all about like just investigating, or is there cleansings and stuff involved?
We've done some cleansings and things. We can do small privates if families request help. We've done that, but I'm more in it not for the fame or anything. We're doing it for a hobby. We want to go out and have fun.
Yes.
Or like in the case of the Paracon. I just love Lisa and her building and want to do things to help her keep that location open and active.
Of course.
So, you know, we're in it more for the fun and to get answers, you know. Get the history of the building. So like when we go into a building, Derek does not look up any history. In fact, sometimes he knows we're going somewhere, but might not even know where we're going until that morning when we're pulling out. And he'll say, okay, where are we going? And I'll say, okay, plug in blah, blah, blah into your GPS. So a lot of times he won't even know. So he does not do any research, and he goes in and uses his abilities to see what he can get. And then we go with there from the equipment, or sometimes he'll do the channeling thing. And
that's the best way to have it. We have 4 mediums, including Casey, on our team, and it's super hard sometimes because you want to get the background out there for the investigators and stuff, so we know what we should expect when we get there. But we have to be careful because we have those mediums. I don't know which medium's going to be on that case with us, so we got to be super careful not to say anything. So that's why, I've almost had the idea to create. We have a Facebook messaging chat for our whole team. And I almost am tempted to create a separate chat without the mediums. That way we can talk a little about the history of the building, so
yeah, because I know the history when we go in. That way, if he is onto something, I'm okay, elaborate, or it's okay, I'm not familiar with that, but keep going, because I'm sure you've had the same thing, and probably Casey too.
Oh yeah.
Just because something's not tied to a location doesn't mean that medium's getting it wrong. It could be something 5 miles down the road that comes to speak just to that person to get their story out. So,
all right, let me ask you this, and I've asked a lot of people this question before, and everybody has mixed answers on it. When it comes to a haunted house, okay, let's say that house was no longer usable, and it was condemned, and it needed to be torn down. This house is haunted, okay? Once you tear that house down, those spirits don't go with it. They stay on that property. They could be tied to the land. If they're tied to that house, well, guess what? They're going to be on the land when you take the house away.
Yep.
So in your opinion, a spirit may be following. Can a spirit leave land if it's tied to it? Like, let's say, maybe
I'm sure anything is possible, but I would think that if they're tied to that land, I'm thinking they're pretty much tied. They're not. I mean, we don't know. That's why we're doing what we do, right? To try to find out. I'd like to think they can leave, but if they're tied to it, I'm thinking they're tied to it, or until they finish whatever it is they need to do to be able to have their peace and move on.
That is true. Yep. Yeah, and that's why I ask, because so many people have mixed feelings about that question of whether a spirit is, goes with the house when you tear it down.
I'd say definitely not. No.
I mean, because a spirit is a being. Okay, there's a difference between spirits and ghosts and whatever. However, all of these beings used to be human beings, besides, like, there's some that are demonic or something that probably were not human or something. They're not there anymore. Their spirit is there. So when you take a house away, if I was in this house that I'm in right now, and somebody came through with a wrecking ball and they wrecked this entire house, I'm probably gonna be wrecked too. I'm probably gonna get killed if somebody came and wrecked the house. It's different. It's different with spirits. You can't just take them away, especially if they're tied to the land, So it's completely off subject, but it's an interesting topic that you can get deep into. A
perfect example of that is the YMCA. When we've gone into there, Derek different times has said he sees a girl foaming from the mouth. And different people had said, well, there's no history of anything happening like that at the Y. Nope. And they basically, not Lisa, but different people had wrote him off as, you don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
Well, recently a historian was digging back further in the records and found that prior to that building being there, there was a block of, I want to say 6 or 8 houses, right? Well, in that house, a woman died. I don't remember if it was arsenic poisoning but she died of some type of poisoning, and it talks in this article that she was found deceased, foaming from the mouth. So right there, that was before that building was built. So that kind of backs up exactly what you're saying.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I feel bad for her, of course, but that's pretty cool. It's amazing. The mind of a medium is just amazing. They can see, feel, hear the things that we have to use darn equipment to see, hear, and feel. So a medium is just absolutely amazing. So, okay, and then let's see. Okay, to celebrate season 4 of Minnesota SpiritCast, we like to ask all of our guests what are 4 of their favorite investigation venues, whether it be in Iowa or not.
Okay, Rock Island YMCA, number 1, of course. That's my home. That's my home away from home. Edinburgh Manor, Old Baraboo Inn, Wisconsin, and
same Minnesota, same.
I've only been to one in Minnesota. I've been to the Palmer House once.
Hey, I've been there.
That one's a good one. It's a toss up, honestly. A Palmer House was amazing. I just wish I would have had more time there to be able to really investigate, because there was a lot. They had a band that night, so there was a lot of interference.
Sure.
Another place that's absolutely amazing is the Bell Mansion in Indiana.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Yeah, I've heard of that one. List too. I've heard of that one. I'd like to get on there. Casey, I'm glad you mentioned that, because Kandi, I want to know, what are your 4 bucket list places to go? And I can probably confirm one without you even speaking, the Boyd House.
I do want to get to the Boyd House. Definitely Waverly Hills.
Yep, mine too.
I want to get back into MSP. We did a short little thing there, but I want to get there and do a proper, full-on investigation.
Mm-hmm. You got to make her think a little bit.
Alcatraz and Salem.
Yes.
Yep.
Alcatraz would be fantastic. You know how much it is to investigate Alcatraz?
No.
$38,000 for a couple hours.
Yeah, then I better win that lottery.
Yeah, pretty much. It's crazy.
Call you in. Or they call you in.
What's that?
Or they call you in.
Yeah.
Usually if they call you in, it's free.
And I'm a nobody, so they won't ever be calling me in. So
Same here.
I'm just saying that'd be the only way.
Yeah, that'd probably be the only way you get in for cheaper or free. So who knows? But okay, so we talked a little bit about what your team specializes in. So let's talk a little bit about, you said you've done a couple cleansings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what goes into cleansing a property? What mindset do you need to be in, and what tools do you need?
Each one is different.
This is true.
The few I've done, everyone is different. We've needed different things for them, depending on what it is that, just the experiences I've had. Like, some of them, sage just really doesn't cut it. You've got to, and I got to be careful because, non-disclosure, all of that. But no, beliefs, the biggest thing mindset wise, you got to be in a good spot in your brain, because if you're not, anything that could be negative in that house could come home with you.
Absolutely.
I've seen that happen, and it wasn't pretty.
Right.
God, yeah. There was one a case where my husband really related with the deceased entity that was in there, and the entity, it can happen to even the best, so I'm not ashamed to admit it. It followed him home. It attached to him and came home with us. And at first I didn't recognize it because 2 days later he came down with COVID. So the different looks in his eyes and stuff, I was chalking that up to, you're not feeling well, you've got COVID. Well, then a couple more days go by and it was like, something's not right here. And we got to the bottom of it. And the entity, when we cleansed it, somehow attached onto him, and we didn't notice it.
Mm-hmm.
So live and learn on that one. We've
absolutely,
Okay.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned cleansing, or I mentioned cleansing, but so when we talk about cleansing in the paranormal field, we're not only talking about cleansing a house or a building or something. You want to make sure that you have the proper protection of yourself
Yep.
And there comes a time, and we've had to do it before. There comes a time when you got to cleanse yourself and you got to cleanse your client. What can you tell us about cleansing yourself and a client?
Well, I am a Reiki master, so I use a lot of that and incorporate the crystals and different herbs and things.
What do you think of this?
Yes, I love Palo. Love Palo.
I'm a Reiki master myself, so I get it.
I just conveniently have a metaphysical store right next to me right here.
Nice. So I use a lot of that witchy stuff, combine it with Reiki and crystals, and then Derek he's amazing on his. So with the two of us together, it works pretty well. And we learned real fast with that one case. I mean, it just so happened to be he related with that one, and he had left his protection items at home that day.
Oh no!
And that's the price we paid. So
I got it, babe. There you go. Awesome. Let's see. Okay. Well, I think that time has come. We're going to talk a little bit about your projects that you have worked on and that you have in the works right now. So the biggest one of all, let's talk about the YMCA Paracon. First of all, tell us a little bit about the YMCA and why you did the Paracon there.
The Haunted Rock Island YMCA, it's owned by a most generous woman I've ever met. Her name is Lisa Viner. Like so many other paranormal locations, they need to be maintained. It's a historical landmark. It was built in 1912, opened in 1913. Housed John Looney, the mobster, did a lot of business out of there. Al Capone visited there multiple times. John Looney was said to be so bad that Al Capone feared John Looney. Helen Van Dale ran her brothels out of there. So there's, besides that, I mean, they used to have a circus there every year. So there's real spirits of clowns in the building. There's so many different, that building is just so incredible energy. I've been there so many times and I've never not had something happen. We've always had some type of experiences. So when we ventured out, we're kind of deciding to do our own thing. I was talking to Lisa one day and I said, I really want to help you. I want to help you keep the doors open here. I said, would you allow me to put on a paracon in here and, help get your building out there? Because, some buildings are the best. People just don't know about them yet.
Absolutely.
Right.
And she's like, sure, go ahead. So her and I worked really close. It was our first year for it. It was October 7th this year. We had over 80 vendors and over 1,600 people come through the door that day.
Wow.
We had like Dave Schrader was there, Rick Hayes. I don't know if you know who Rick Hayes is. Amazing medium. He was Psychic Medium of the Year twice and consistently in the top 20 mediums in the country. So he was one of the headliners. Paraflix had quite a big presentation in our presence there. I mean, it was, so yeah, We Are Paranormal. Awesome. 28 Days Haunted, Nick and Aaron were there.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
So yeah, it was great. We had 3 presentation rooms going all day long. So constant presentations free classes, that type of things that people could do.
Okay. So it seems like you put on a pretty big event here and it was very successful. Now let's talk about preparation of 2024. What are your expectations for next year?
I want to keep it going. We just opened it up. I want to say it was a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, for vendor spots, and I've only got like 10 or 11 left. They've already most of the vendors were like, "Oh God, I'm coming back. Notify me right away." So I reached out to all of those first and said, "Hey, do you want to come back? We're doing it." And they were all like, most of them were like, "Oh God, yeah." I mean, there were some that couldn't because one gal was moving across the country. She's like, I really can't. No. Other ones, and like yourself, as soon as you heard you're like, nope, sign me up. We're not missing it this year because they've heard they've heard great things about it. So we're hoping to grow it.
So I can confirm we will be there next year, and it's going to be an honor to meet everybody, to meet you even. I mean, we've yet to meet you, and it's an honor to have you on our show tonight for sure.
Thank you.
And I'm super excited about the Paracon, and it's not all about all of the big names that are going to be there. It's for a good cause for the field. You're keeping a historical building, in the know, so people know about it, and not a lot of people know that it's haunted, right?
No, and a lot of people, literally, when I say YMCA, an old YMCA, let me clarify, the old YMCA, it's not the current up and running YMCA,
right?
But a lot of people say, well, why would you want to investigate a YMCA? That's boring, because it's you would think all positive. Yeah, there's a lot of positive spirits there too, because like military people stayed there for free if they showed up in uniform. Different kids that maybe went there for their swimming lessons or had a good time, or the circus. They used to have a circus there every year. So there's that positive side. But on the flip side, you have the mob, you have the speakeasies, the brothels. There's a room called the trunk room that the women of the night used to get beat and thrown in trunks and then taken down out a back door and thrown in the river. That's what several mediums have picked up, backed up by intelligent responses using equipment. So it's pretty safe to say, obviously it's not like we can go pull up a newspaper article that says this happened, but that's what we believe with all of the investigations that have taken place there that back it up. So it's just a unique location because it's different. It really is. Absolutely.
And so you did mention that there was a investigation that followed the Paracon. How did that go?
Everybody loved it. So we did a couple different things. We had 3 types of investigations. ACG Paranormal was the team leading the investigation this last year. They did 3 mini investigations. So you could come in for $10 and go for, I think it was like a half hour or 45-minute mini investigations. See if investigating is for you, because some new beginners might not want to come and do a whole, the VIP investigation. So we had that. We had the VIP investigation that they also led that went from 8 to midnight that night. But then we did another thing, Silent Explorers. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them. Josie Roberts. He is a deaf paranormal investigator.
Yeah.
He did the deaf paranormal investigator experience.
Wow.
So at the time that investigation would start, all of the people, and it was a free, we just had so many tickets for each investigation. You just had to say, hey, I want to do it. And we gave you your bracelet. But so a group of, I think it was 15 investigators would be given earplugs and said, okay, meet at this table at 1:00. But when you get there, you're not allowed to speak and you got to have your earplugs in. And these, like, you did not hear anything. So you went with her and you learned what a deaf investigator, like what it's like. And so many people that did that were so impressed. They're like, I had to count on other things. I couldn't just sit there and listen.
That's awesome.
It heightened. So we're going to do that again this year.
That is awesome. I guarantee I'll be in there. That'd be a cool experience.
Yeah.
I would be too.
And I don't know if you know Josie, but Josie is just the sweetest. The spirits love her. So it's like they flock to her too. So yeah, they had such a great experience with that.
Oh my goodness. And it's very inspirational too.
Yeah.
So in the long run, to wrap up that entire Paracon and the whole event for 2023, did you reach your goal?
I exceeded it. When I started out, I was hoping to have, give me between 12 and 24 vendors and 500 people. I'll be happy. We ended up with over 80 vendors and over 1,600 people through the door.
Wow.
That is fantastic.
That's cool.
You know, that promote the heck out of it.
Yep.
And we
Some
all
people
know
hated me for that.
we all
Oh,
know you're
God.
good at promoting stuff. So which brings me to my next project that we're gonna talk about. And Casey, soon I'm gonna give you the floor because I'm over here clenching my legs a little bit. I gotta use the bathroom. But to kind of start up the conversation, if everybody remembers back in July, I want to say July or August, we started up a little game where every day for 50 days, you chose a state that you wanted the hunters to come to and do a week-long tour and a paracon. And Kandi promoted the heck out of Iowa until Iowa was the last state standing. And Iowa was chosen for the paracon and the tour. We figured out the name for the paracon. Kandi, I don't know if you want to say it, but
we decided on Spirits in the Corn.
Mm-hmm. We kind of decided of that because obviously there's a ton of corn in Iowa, and it's just got a ring to it. You know,
and really a lot of the locations you go to, there's corn. You go to Edinburgh Manor, you look out the back.
There's corn.
There's corn.
Yes.
On the way to almost any location in Iowa, you're going to run into some type of corn. It just it fits. It fits.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we are looking at spring 2025 for this paracon. It's going to be hosted by Minnesota Spirit Hunters and from the Ashes Paranormal. And we're going to have all kinds of different things. Like, what do we talk about? We're even going to sell some corn at the paracon.
Are we really? Oh, that'll be cool.
Yes. I want to sell butter dipped corn at the paracon.
Oh, wow.
That would be mighty fantastic. Just get a big kettle, melt a ton of butter, and dip a cob of corn in there. Like $3 a cob for each person. I think it would be awesome. So
I love it.
What better way to promote the state other than a cob of corn? Walk around, look at or talk to all the different teams and gnaw on some corn. So hey, cornbread and corn and all that. So there's a lot of planning that needs to go into it. We have yet to find a location for the paracon, but it is in the process. It's very slowly moving. But I don't know. Do you have anything to say about the paracon at all?
I'm excited. I think it's gonna be fun.
Yes, absolutely. And if it is as successful as the YMCA paracon, nothing would make me more happy. That would be absolutely fantastic. But like you said, give me a dozen or 2 dozen vendors and 500 guests, and we'll be just good. So
we'll
be just fine.
It'll happen. We'll promote the heck out of it. And
I'll leave that job to you. We know you're good at it.
Kind of like Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come, right?
Yes. Yep. Exactly. Casey, if you want to.
One of my favorite movies.
Yes, and that is a good movie too. For everybody that don't know, that is a movie. And it was filmed in Iowa, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Some of the scenes were filmed just down the street from where I lived.
Oh, really?
Oh, nice.
So now we're expecting a picture of you and Derek at the field.
Oh, I got lots of those. Yeah.
Well, I'll send them on over.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Kendra, I went to the house before, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a great place. It's so, even just walking on to they have the new field there because they did they actually called it the Field of Dreams game a couple of years ago, and they actually brought Kevin Costner back to throw out the first pitch and all of that.
Oh, cool.
That was cool. But just walking on the field from the movie set is still there, and just walking onto that, it's kind of, I don't know.
That's awesome.
Such positive energy.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, Casey, if you want to take the floor, I'll be back in a few minutes, and look forward to talking with you guys some more. So I'll be right back.
All right. Yeah, so how you doing?
Good.
Good. Yeah, I've done the paranormal for the last 3 years on my own. I actually moved back home, and a friend of mine actually invited me to one of her events, and I was hooked ever since. So
I love it.
yeah, it was interesting. Actually, the location, the hotel I was talking about, is the first location I've been to,
Oh, wow.
and I had an amazing time there. It's actually my second home too.
Awesome.
So
I love it.
yeah. Yeah, but now I just confirmed that I'm also a Reiki master as well. So
Very helpful, isn't it? When you're doing
yeah,
investigations and things.
I haven't used that yet. But I've helped people. I had a client. She had hard time walking, and when I was one session, she was able to walk. So it's very intriguing for me to help people that way.
Oh, yes, definitely.
So, but yeah, I'm anxious to see what it does with the paranormal.
I like it, especially if the spirits seem to be needing extra energy. I can, you can offer extra energy up, and yeah, it's
Yeah, it's weird because like every investigation I've gone to except for one, I've had my name called on audio, and it's just interesting. I don't know.
it's a neat feeling when they actually say your name, isn't it?
It is. It is.
I only get mine every once in a while, but every location, I don't know what it is. Every location we're at, Derek. It's like, I don't know if it's because like you're a medium, he's a medium. Do the spirits know that and are wanting to talk to you guys more, or?
Usually that's the case a lot of times, but I'm not, 100% on that.
Mm-hmm.
No, like not this one, but the previous investigation they only wanted to talk to me.
Oh.
And then they wanted to talk to Marcus, and then this next one, same thing. They all wanted to, and they talked to my girlfriend a couple of times too. But yeah, they like to pick and choose who they want to communicate with.
Mm-hmm.
So I've actually, speaking to Ashmore Estates, I've had dreams about that location. I don't know why. It's weird.
It's an interesting location. We're planning on going back there next year, so.
Yeah, that's one place I need to go.
It's a great location.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you heard of Old Juliet Prison?
Yes.
I was there with Dave Schrader and Shane Pittman.
Oh, very nice.
That was an awesome investigation, but if you're not used to walking, you're gonna hurt.
Oh God. Yeah, I'd love to get into there. And I think, did you say you were at Old Baraboo Inn as well?
Yep. I know the owner.
Shelly. Oh God, Shelly is amazing too, isn't she?
She is.
We just had an event there for her. December 2nd. It was the 90th anniversary of the end of Prohibition.
Oh wow.
And we were dressed up. A lot of the women were dressed up as, flapper girls, and the men were dressed up as mobsters. We got so much great evidence that night. I think everybody there was having experiences because, everybody was dressed back in the time. It was a great, and she's going to have some great events coming up next year as well.
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times. I actually spent the whole entire night there.
Yeah, we have too. Isn't it amazing up in the brothel area?
Yeah. I was trying to record my DVR system there, and it would not record. It was recording, and when I came home, it was gone.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if they did something where it doesn't record or what, but it was weird.
I've had that. Where was I at that? I've gone to a couple locations like that where it's been up and it's recording because you can see it on the monitor. And I was there and went back and played it and got home and it was like gone. It was like, what the heck happened?
Yeah, that was weird. I actually also had met VC before he passed, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah, unfortunately I never got to meet him, but I hear he was quite the man.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, I think I may have caught his voice on a recorder once, but I don't remember. Oh, he's back.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
What did I miss?
Not much. We're just jibber jabbing
about locations. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Pretty cool. Did you guys talk about equipment at all?
No.
Okay, Casey.
I left that for you.
You're the tech geek here. All right. Take the floor.
What's your favorite equipment to use?
I know Derek doesn't count. No, and it honestly, and I know this sounds like I'm trying to avoid the question, but it really depends on each location.
Right.
Because I've found one location like Victorian View. I have, good SLS. We were getting great stuff with the SLS in there. That place is crawling with EMF. So we weren't getting as great reliable responses with EMF detectors or REM pods. But the tripwire is great. But give me my recorder, and even if it's just a cell phone camera, taking pictures, taking videos. I love that. We were just last night, we were at an investigation at the Y, and I didn't catch it, but a friend, Kalina, she had her recorder going, and there was a person there saying, I've got to pee. I'll be right back. I've got to pee. And then someone a few seconds later said, well, where did so-and-so go? They've got an EVP as clear as can be. He went pee.
Oh, nice.
And it was just,
That's cool.
That was.
I swear it wasn't me saying I got to pee. Okay.
And I'm really excited. Lauren, and I'm going to butcher her last name, Helkinson, I believe it is. She is actually custom designing a REM pod for me with crystals and things on top. She does it. So if you're into custom design stuff, and anything by Ghost Gear Tech, I swear by Ghost Gear Tech. One piece I take everywhere, the Epic box. It's it's about this big, black box with a blue rubber protector. So even if you drop it, it's not going to break. It's got a yes/no light on it.
Oh.
And it is, so it's like your typical yes/no, but Robert specially designs things so that, cell phones, if you get right on top of it, are going to set it off. But he's got the stuff set so if you're getting an answer, you're getting an answer. But we've used it not only as yes/no, but okay, I'm going to take a deck of cards at this place because, gangsters use the Y, for example.
Sure.
Played cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Put an ace here and a 5. Can you light up the red button, the no, for if this card is higher, and light up green if this is higher? And we've gotten great results. Or if you like red or you like blue, different. We've used that to narrow things down. Light up red for this, light up green for that, and it is amazing.
Wow. Where can we find one of these devices? Ghost
Gear Tech. He actually is right out of Ankeny, Iowa. Rob Walzak. I can get you his information. He's done some phenomenal equipment. I have an EMF and Captivative Touch unicorn. Unicorn. So that goes off. He made a fan tune. It's like a motion 365 motion sensor box that when motion goes off within 16 feet around it, it plays music. A piccolo, that's his newest one. He's always coming up with new things that are they're amazing.
Well, I might take this opportunity to suggest one of our team members. His name is Johnny Vortex, and he has created the Vortex Investigation Pod. I do have one, but it is downstairs. But it's a custom-made 3D printed REM pod.
Okay.
It is phenomenal. It's quieter than your standard REM pod. and these are going for $50 a piece.
You have to send me that information after.
Of course. I will definitely send you his way. He is phenomenal with what he does. He's in the middle of creating a new piece of equipment as well. And we're going to give that a little tester video as well. So we'll do a little tester video on that, on the VIP, and send that over to you.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah.
And for anyone else out there that's watching right now, anybody else wants a VIP pod, we'll send you Johnny's way as well. So figured I'd take that little opportunity. So,
heck yeah.
Kandi, let's talk a little bit about, let's say somebody came from out of state and they knew absolutely nothing about Iowa. In your opinion, what would be, okay, so I guess this ties in good with our event that's going to be happening. What makes Iowa a good place to take a paranormal tour? Because we have a week-long tour coming up in Iowa. What's going to make me want to do this paranormal tour?
Well, just in Dubuque alone, the town I live in, we have, on the 10 most haunted in the state of Iowa, we've got the Matthias Ham House. Okay, they don't let you go in and take a ghost tour and do investigation because they don't allow it. But still, just going on that land up there, on that same land, there's the first log cabin or first house built west of the Mississippi River on that property. The first single room schoolhouse built west of the Mississippi. The Grand Opera House, also on the 10 most haunted in the state, literally just minutes from my house.
Wow.
That place is insane. There's so much just in Dubuque alone. Derek and I investigated a place that was the site of the hanging of the first man of what would become the state of Iowa. So he was hung before Iowa was even a state.
Wow.
That's just in the town I live in. And we have a lot of activity, I believe, being right on the Mississippi River. I mean, you got the energy from that. And we're surrounded by limestone hills.
Oh, okay.
So, like, you go out the back door of my house and walk just up a block, there's a limestone bluff right there. So there's limestone everywhere. So that magnifies, limestone, the energy you get. Yeah, it's just there. But then, I mean, we've got places, everybody's heard of Edinburgh Manor, Farrar Schoolhouse, Melbourne Manor, Villisca, Squirrel Cage Jail, fun unknown places. Victorian View, they're getting more known now. But Derek and I did some research, found a cemetery called Stone King Cemetery. Okay. I guess they say Children of the Corn, a site scene from there was filmed at this cemetery.
Oh, wow.
And there is actually a grave for a Joseph Stone King. You go read, there's the story that if you read the epitaph on his monument, and at the back of the cemetery, and it's a small cemetery surrounded by cornfields, of course, there's a row of trees in the back, and they say if you walk past the back of the row of trees and see Mr. Stone King, you're going to die that day.
Oh, no.
So the strangest thing happened when we were there. Derek, he walks back and he's like, oh, yeah, because at this point I do know he's a medium now, and he sees him. And I am trying to walk back to get behind the trees, and my feet were literally stuck to the ground. I am trying to move. Okay.
Wow.
I'm trying to move. I can't move. And Derek's like, oh, I smell this rose perfume, this floral perfume. Well, out in the middle in October, because this was October, the cornfields, there's corn on this side, but everything else, mowed down because they're getting ready October.
Yeah.
We go to leave. I could turn around and walk backwards, but if I tried to walk forward, literally, like my feet, I would get stuck. I could not move.
Wow.
And I get to the car. I'm like, I'm going to go try this again. And I turn around and go to run in the cemetery, and I'm stopped again. We are driving down the road, heading back home, or not home, to our next location. And all of a sudden, Derek, out of the blue, slams on his brakes, like slams on them. had he not done that when he did, we would have been T-boned by a truck. Because, I'm sure in Minnesota it's the same out in the old country roads.
Yeah.
Everybody flies on them and nobody pays attention to the T roads. And I guess Derek said at that very moment, my dead grandmother appeared to him for the first time ever and said, "Stop now!" And
my gosh!
Slammed on the brakes. And had he not done that, we probably wouldn't be here today.
Oh no!
So, but that place, we want to go back. I don't necessarily want to try that again, but yeah, it's a neat. There's a lot of weird energy in that cemetery.
That'd be kind of cool.
That is a cool one. There's a book I got, and I believe Chad Lewis may have been the one to write it, but it's locations in Iowa. And a lot of them, I don't think this is just my belief, so don't shoot me for it. I don't think you have to go to all of the places known as the most haunted. Yes, they're the most haunted. Yes, they're all amazing. I don't deny that.
Yes.
But some of these little unknown places, you get just as good evidence because they're not so well known. The spirits really seem to want to talk when you go to these places.
Yep.
So
I got this right here. 50 states, scary places to visit.
Ooh.
And we're going to take a little look and see what they have listed for Iowa.
Okay.
And I just so happen to open right up to Iowa. Imagine that.
I love it.
Let's see. First of all, we have the Jordan House in West Des Moines. Do you know anything about it?
I've heard of that one, have tried to get in it. They do not believe in or allow paranormal.
Okay.
But I've heard it's haunted, yeah.
Fair enough. I'm sure this next one is everyone's familiar with it, and that is the Villisca Axe Murder House.
Yes.
And have you investigated
One
there?
of my hotspots I want to go to.
Yeah, it is incredible. Been there a couple times. The most recent time, Derek and I were there with Stacy, one of my best friends, and a few other people. Everybody else went to bed. It was actually last November.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody had gone to bed, and they went upstairs because it was so cold that night. And they had a heater thing going upstairs. So everybody's sleeping. Stacy and I are down on the main floor. And I said, she's sitting on a chair by a space heater. And I said, I'm just going to go take my blanket and lay down on the daughter's, the bed in the room where the two neighbor girls, Ina and Lena, were found. And I said, Stacy, I said, we may be going about something all wrong. I said, why don't we try to communicate with the daughter whose room this actually was, but on that night she was upstairs because the neighbor girls had that room, right? I said, can you pull it up real quick? Because normally I knew the name, but for some reason her name escaped me. So Stacy pulls up on her phone and starts reading the accounts of what they believe happened that night, right?
Yeah.
I shit you not. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to swear.
No, NC-17, you're fine.
We are, as she said that, the murderers, they believe, walked, axed the parents, and that the axe hit the ceiling, and we could hear footsteps. We heard a loud, like a thud when we said hit the ceiling. When she talked about walking into the children's room, you could hear the footsteps. Mm-hmm. She said, it goes, and I'm getting goosebumps now. Talks about walking down the steps. We could hear footsteps coming down the stairs, like into the rooms where we were. And I was laying in the bed and I felt like really sharp pains in my back and on my side, and just was getting real weird pains. And as she kept going and said that, eventually, did this and probably walked out the front door, the footsteps we heard, it was almost as if the whole thing was being reenacted. We couldn't see it, but we could hear the steps of it happening, and it was that was intense.
Wow, I bet. And a little bit of history about it, if anybody doesn't know. The listing says it's not hard to guess what happened in the Villisca Axe Murder House in Villisca on June 9th, 1912. But the brutal murders of Josiah and Sarah Moore, their 4 children, and 2 house guests have remained unsolved for more than 100 years. With such a horrifying past, it's unsurprising that all kinds of ghostly activity have been reported at the house. Footsteps, voices, apparitions, and glowing orbs are common. Many visitors bring toys for the children, which are said to move on their own as the spirits play.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I mean, that's the story that took the Titanic off the front page of the papers, they say.
Yes. Absolutely. Next on our listing, we have the Ambrose Hall in Davenport.
Heard of it, but did not know it was haunted, so I will have to check that one out.
And it actually looks pretty cool. If you can see.
Barely, but
maybe. Right there.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. Very cool. Next, we have the Independence State Hospital in Independence, Iowa.
Still operating, cannot investigate there. Yeah.
Okay. Damn. We have from Toronto, Canada. Welcome.
Awesome. Hi.
We're just going through some haunted hotspots right now in the state of Iowa. Next, we have the Eldora Rotary Haunted Hospital in Eldora, Iowa.
Heard of it, but have not been to that one.
Okay. The Mason House Inn in Bentonport.
Love that place. Very positive energy. Great place. Right on the river there. Yeah, it's a great location.
Awesome. Then we have the Lover's Leap Swinging Bridge in Columbus Junction.
Yes, I've been there and had some run-ins with elementals in addition to the spirits. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Cool. I think you mentioned this one. Imagine this. Matthias Ham House in Dubuque.
Yep.
Okay. Edinburgh Manor in Monticello, of course.
Yep.
Hotel Black Hawk over in Davenport.
Yep.
Yeah, and that wraps up our Iowa most haunted hotspots. Go watch. No, almost done. Okay, almost done. Go ahead, kids. So to kind of bring the show to the near end, Kandi, what I like to do on the show is let people know in each state that there's somebody out there to help them, because there's a lot of people who need help, but they're too afraid to ask for help, with getting these entities out of their house. Yep. So, the whole reason we're asking about your favorite equipment and what you do and things like that is so they know if they were to book an investigation with you, how that would go. So a big thing for our team is pre-investigation walkthroughs. Do you do those? Okay. Yeah,
we do usually a walkthrough, no equipment, just solely for, if it's a private like that, solely just to feel things out, get an idea, talk to the owner, find out what they're experiencing. Then we would schedule a time to come back, do an actual investigation, whether it needs to be overnight or not. I mean, we have had some privates where they say, no, stay overnight because it's happening at 3:00 in the morning.
Right.
So, do the overnight if needed, go back home. We never, as long as we've done it, we've never given direct answers right on the spot, because we always like to go home, discuss what has happened, review the evidence and things we might have captured, because we want to make an intelligent decision. We don't want to, we don't want to fly off the cuff and, oh yeah, you got this, this, and this, and have it not be the case.
And that's kind of what we're doing with our recent investigation that we did. Is Casey and I are in the process of going through all the evidence and everything, and then early January, we're going to go back for an evidence reveal. So we're not going to reveal anything on the spot.
Same.
So it's just a better way of not freaking them out, because in the long run, when we leave, they got to stay. So if you feed them false information that's not true, they're going to be scared until the moment you walk back through the door.
Or if you tell them, oh, I think it's this, And then they go Googling, oh, well, to get rid of this type of thing, you do this. But then you review the information. It was like, oh, it was this portraying to be this.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they've done something that has upset the entity even more and caused them more undue stress. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. So a walkthrough is a pretty good thing. Now, what about after the investigation, your post-investigation process?
So we review, like we said, review everything, then get back with the owner, you know, well, no, what you were thinking was paranormal, the clunk or this you were hearing. We've been able to debunk it. It was let's face it, the homes with boilers, people that don't know boilers, you get those clunks in the pipes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, certain things, if we can debunk it, we debunk it. If not, okay, this is what we believe you have, and this is how we recommend you proceed to do the cleansing or whatever they would need to do. And then help them, if they would like the help to do that, we help them every step of the way until it's taken care of.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for the sake of all those in need people of Iowa, Minnesota Sphere Hunters does cover Iowa, South Dakota, North Dakota, blah, blah, blah. But first of all, we want you to know that Kandi is here for helping with cases on anybody's place they're experiencing issues with. If that were the case and somebody needed your services, how can they contact you?
Directly through my Facebook page or the From the Ashes Paranormal Facebook page, or if they know you, they can holler to you to get yeah. Well, and if I promise, if we don't know the answer, because let's face it, none of us are 100% perfect. None of us know everything. We are not afraid to say, I can't do this, but I know somebody who can.
Absolutely.
So we can't help you ourselves. We know plenty of people who can.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is never leave a stone unturned. Always give them an answer. If you can't help them, find someone who can. We've had people from, I think it was France before, needing our services. And of course, I'd like to go to France. I'd love to do an investigation in France. But I couldn't make it happen. It would have took a long time to raise up the finances to get to France. Well, these people needed help on the spot, and unfortunately, I couldn't offer that. So we found somebody who did, who could. So we never leave a stone unturned. We cover everything, and we help everybody on the spot, whether it's us or somebody else. So that's a big piece of advice for any investigation team or investigator. And speaking of advice, to wrap up the show tonight, my last and final question for you would be, what is a piece of your advice for a newcomer in the field?
Don't be afraid to ask questions and ask for help, and actually educate yourself properly before delving in. Because things can happen. You can bring things home with you.
Of course.
If you don't know exactly what you're doing. And if it does happen, don't be afraid to ask for help to fix the situation, because it can happen to the best of us. We could walk into a location and bring something home.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So, well, Kandi, we absolutely appreciate you coming on the Minnesota SpiritCast for the first time.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And I'm going to extend an invitation for you to return after season 4 is complete.
Awesome.
We'd love to have you back on the show. We like to see the progress of the Haunted YMCA Paracon, the progress of From the Ashes Paranormal, because by then you're going to be, probably 30 investigations deep. So, we want to see the progress of how everything's going. We want to chat some more and just have a little bit more fun. So, great. Another big happy birthday from all of us at the Spirit Hunter.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
We enjoyed having you on the show, and I will touch bases with you afterwards. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. We hope you have a good night.
You too.
Thanks. Okay, everybody, we hope you enjoyed the show. Again, we want to remind you to check out From the Ashes Paranormal. All of their links are down below in the description of this podcast. So go and show Kandi and Derek some support and some love in the state of Iowa. Casey, thanks for co-hosting once again. It's been a great show as usual. And I feel like I can't take you serious without the beard.
He thinks I have a baby face, and then he can't take me serious.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a case of baby face going on here.
Huh? Yeah, it's still live, by the way, just so you know.
And we're live. So, but again, we do appreciate everybody watching our episode of Minnesota Spiritcast in the state of Iowa tonight. You can check out a lot more of Kandi's stuff by clicking on the links in the description. And I want to remind you to check us out next Saturday night as we head to the state of Pennsylvania to talk about all things paranormal. And Casey and I will be right there, and probably Beth as well, in the state of Pennsylvania with a returning guest. And we'll have a good show. So again, thank you everybody for watching tonight and supporting Kandi from the Ashes Paranormal and the haunted state of Iowa, one of our neighboring states. So until next week, when we see you in Pennsylvania, we hope you guys have a great night. Thanks for watching and happy hunting.